Kevin, what did you think of it?
I love it. It takes a while for me to fully get on its wavelength because it is very oppressive at first, but it is incredibly made. And the cumulative impact of everything is wonderful. So I really like it. What are your thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. When you say incredibly made, I think we kind of joked about the movie looks like absolute shit, but that's part of the charm, part of it. But it's incredibly well made, and just the performances are really great. John Amplas is fantastic. And then Kuda, he's incredible too. Like I talked about that accent. I had to think, does he have an accent in the amusement park? Because this seems so authentic.
Yeah, it is. But it's not a cartoon, even though it's an Eastern European, Slovenian accent, whatever, that comes from that vampire mythology. It does feel very real. It's not a cartoon in any way. I really love the amusement park just because I love that connection between it trying to be an educational film and trying to be a film that's about elder abuse and how we should respect the elderly and try not to push them out of the way and make a world that's unlivable for them. But it's so nightmarish.
And meanwhile, it's the most disturbing film ever made.
I know.
It's funny. Do you ever see what's that unauthorized Disney movie? Is that Escape from Tomorrow or something like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've never seen that one.
Okay. That movie kind of sucks. And the amusement park was 100% what that movie kind of tried to do.
Yeah.
Even though, coincidentally, I'm sure whoever made that wasn't even aware of the amusement park because it wasn't released at the time.
Well, I don't think anyone had found it. I don't think it had even been, discussed.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I maybe a George Romero biographer would have known about it. But
yeah, I mean, I've seen a fair number of George Romero films. I haven't seen his entire filmography, but the amusement park was what scared me the most of everything. And he's done some scary stuff.
Because that's the one that's not outwardly, anyways, a horror movie.
Or it's not even meant to, or it's not meant to be.
Yeah.
It's meant to be educational. It's meant to be a social film where you learn about how we should be better towards the elderly. But instead, it is just a complete nightmare. So, but
did you ever see There's Always Vanilla?
No, I haven't.
That looks like, I was going to say, that looks like the one movie I haven't seen by him. But no, I didn't see, he did a lot more movies kind of later in his career that I wasn't even aware of, like Bruiser, The Dark Half. And then eventually he was just Zombie Guy. Those are the only movies he could make. Oh, executive producer on the Crazies remake. Good for him. Congrats. I actually like that, the remake of that movie. I like that more than the original even.
But I need to see that one. I remember when it came out. But that was the midst of a glut of tons of remakes. Even when they
also a glut of zombies too. And the Crazies, at least the original, the Crazies isn't really a zombie thing. I think the remake kind of was. I could be wrong though.
The last thing about Martin that I was surprised to find out, apparently the original cut was 2 hours and 45 minutes.
I was going to comment on that, yeah.
Yeah, well, a couple years ago, the thing I didn't know is that someone found that version, and they're restoring it right now.
I think so it hasn't been released, but okay, so that...
No, not yet, as far as I know.
Maybe we'll finally get Martin, in some capacity, released in the U.S., and maybe it'll only be the 2 hours and 45-minute one. Maybe that one will be released in black and white. I'd be curious about that.
Just very curious to see it, and very curious to see what was cut from the film, because it moves at a very leisurely, almost lyrical pace throughout the thing.
Yes.
There's so many times in the conversation where we were I don't know if they actually show that, or if that's what it is, but I guess that's the case.
Yeah. I'm assuming in that cut, we will at least establish when Martin tells Abby that he's a vampire.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there will probably be more to the Arthur Kuda discussion when they're at the bar, because that whatever comes of that discussion, he apparently he tells him about the vampire stuff, and then because I think he's about to tell Arthur, it's hey, you shouldn't, Christina shouldn't have children.
Yeah.
Because one of them could end up being a vampire, but he doesn't get to saying all of that. So, but yeah, otherwise I'd be curious to, I don't know what that would be like. I'm hoping for more aimless wandering around Pittsburgh and Braddock, because I like the looks of all those scenes, how depressing they are.
Absolutely. It's almost slow cinema at that point.
But yeah, Martin is really a masterpiece. I think it's probably my favorite vampire movie. Vampires don't tend to be my favorite things in horror. Mm-hmm. But this is certainly a unique take on it, or at least unique when the movie came out. and it's fascinating because it really blends. I even though he's a vampire, I really wouldn't call it a supernatural horror movie in any way. It's a psychological movie.
Yeah, very much so.
And Martin as a character is fascinating, and how what the movie does with him. The first thing we see him do is have sex with an unconscious woman and then kill her, and somehow Romero and John Amplas with his performance are able to make him sympathetic after that, and it's kind of amazing that they're able to do that when they set him up in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love I mentioned the performances. John Amplas is great. Lincoln Mazel or whatever, fantastic as Kuda. And I really love the woman who plays Abby, Elaine Nadeau. She's fantastic as just like, she's so believable as this just like depressed woman. Like, it's at the end of it, it's not surprising that she kills herself because she just seems so
yeah, she's really great. You know, she's wonderful at portraying that.